I was rewatching some of our stuff.
Okay,
Was that, hey
hold on.
everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with the podcast number 275 on my channel and number 5 on yours, with Zen Alegra on AI, libertarianism, life, destiny, love, conspiracies, and more. Everyone say hello to Dachi. Hello,
Hi,
Dachi.
Dashi.
And yeah, so I was watching our last stream that we did just to try to get the thumbnail. First off, your nails were just like,
Okay, it's working. It's working.
it is working. Oh yeah, so your nails are they the same or are they different? Because I think you had
No,
spots
they're
on them
different.
last time. Yeah, you had
They were
spots on them last
gold.
time, right?
Yeah, they were gold last time. Gold and blue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the dress. Yeah, like we were talking about. Okay, yeah, copy.
That's right.
Copy. So we had what did we have last time? I tried to watch, just try to get a good screenshot, and it's just every time you're smiling, I'm going like this, and every time I'm like smiling, you're just like puffing your vape, or you're just like.
I hate trying to grab random frames and never. It'd be like, oh, that's cute, and then I can never get that exact frame. I'm always like.
Yeah, that's really hard. That's really rough.
Sometimes I just give up now. I'm like, maybe if I look retarded on the frame, more people will like click. Maybe it's the opposite.
There was this guy that this is like a few years ago. It's like his first video ever. He decided, like, I don't know if he went to school for this or what he did in real life, but he was a big nerd, big Lord of the Rings fan, and he's just like, he titled the video showing my family Lord of the Rings, like, for the first times. Like, they weren't into it when he was younger, and he went to college, and he's like, hey, I'm going to show you guys Lord of the Rings. So they had this whole thing where they would order a bunch of food, they would make a bunch of drinks, and in the second episode, like when they were watching the Two Towers, he goes to his sister and he's like, hey, can you like show me the feet? Everyone was asking for your feet last time, because she had taken her shoes out to sit on the couch, but she had like socks on, and the weirdos in the comments were like, show me the feet. So I didn't do that this time, but I was like, well, it doesn't matter what my face looks like, because they'll click on it if she has a good face. But
I
I
don't
took
know about
one
that.
where I mean, I do stuff all the time, and I kind of have my average. Sometimes it spikes a little bit if I have like a clickbaity title, which I don't do. AI does. They have a high some of our stuff. One of our things last time got like 2,500 views on our shorts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, let me
I
see
was
which one that was.
so It makes me, I need to have the AI just do the clipping and stuff, because I feel do you feel self-conscious going back and like picking out like, hey, this was important, y'all should watch it. And then having
I've
to
never
come up
done that.
with a caption.
I've never done that, so I don't feel self-conscious about it. I don't feel anything because I've never done it. So
That's what I'm saying, because you have the AI do it. Yeah.
yeah, some of the shorts that I had were just like, well, I guess maybe I have done it, but it was not that it was important. It was, well, maybe it was. I thought like, hey, this is something that people would like. Maybe I didn't feel like it was important. I just thought that it was something that people would like. And I know that like, so that Venn diagram, there is going to be some crossover with that, but it wasn't about importance. For us, we had a bunch of shorts, 1,500 views, 48 views. I don't know what happened with that one. 500 views, 1,100, 1,100, 2,500. So some of our stuff got like pretty high ranking stuff. So AI got me. Originally it was like, hey, we're gonna give you AI clips. So I was like, okay, yeah, we helped train the system. Yeah, let's do it. And I did it. And then it said like, hey, you only had 25 AI clips, which I used in like a couple of days. So like, if you want to keep going with this, I apparently had a credit. So instead of like 600 for the year, it was like 323 for the year. And I was like, oh, okay, you know what? It's getting me a lot more views. I think it is something that is important. Especially because it trains the system, because it's from Google. So Google has Gemini because Google owns YouTube. So I was like, okay, we'll train that. And then literally like 3 days ago, it said like, I thought it was unlimited clips because I paid like 300, but it's supposed to be like 600 because I had a credit. So it's like, okay, let's do it. And then 3 days ago, it was like, yeah, if you have like 80 clips now from your previous thing, and if you want unlimited clips, it's an extra $1,800. But then in October, it's going to reset, and you're going to have the full thing for like $2,700. And I was like, that seems like a lot. And I'm not saying that it's not worth it, because it probably is, but like I've already sold some of my YouTube channel, and like I don't want to go in and sell more, because if I sell more now, even if it's at a super high valuation, I have to keep working for a while to keep that revenue coming in, and I don't know if I want to do that. But it goes from StreamYard. Do you have StreamYard yet?
No.
Oh, you should get it. I know there's a free version where I think it's like 20 hours.
Yeah, I'm
a
on
month.
the free or whatever, but I think only the next step up is like 80 a month or some shit. The 80? I feel like I looked at it. Was it like 80 or something?
I think it was a couple hundred for the year when I got it. I got it in like 2024 though. So it might be more now. But I remember getting it, and I paid, it was like 300 something for the year, but that was like 18 months ago. So now it might be higher. But the free version, how many hours do you get for the free version?
I don't know. See, I thought it was gonna try to charge me, and I was gonna run into it after the first month, because I think it was putting me on a free trial for the month.
Okay.
But then it hasn't made me do anything, because I thought the only thing that I was like, oh, I might want to watch it is that it switches it to both. It live streams as the mobile up and down version and the horizontal.
Well, if it's
but it's still letting me do it, and I haven't paid anything. So,
well, you have 1,100 subscribers now, so that's that took me several months to get in 2020. I started in like March of 2020, and I didn't get 1,100.
A lot of it is my residual subscribers from when I posted like years ago.
Oh, from the
I've hidden most of those videos and stuff.
Okay.
No, a lot of them are like dancing videos.
Oh, okay. So all right. Okay, yeah.
My old 10-year twerking audience is still around. Which I have lost quite a bit of, understandably.
Yeah, I remember when we were going through those in like 2024, late 2024, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember some of these from like 2011, 2010, something like that. Yeah.
I have them all hidden in my channel.
Fair. I think I have like two shorts that are like
my libertarian videos that I had done before. That was a separate channel.
Okay.
I think that channel has like 60 subscribers or something, but
I have two shorts that are above like 4,000 views or whatever. One is when I got The Rock. I didn't actually interview him. I was at a premiere event because I had this thing called the Bat Cows. It was a NFT project that Jim Lee was doing, and we got tickets to what was the movie The Rock was in? He was a superhero from DC, Black Adam. And we got tickets to go to the premiere like in New York City, and that was great. And my friend, I can't say who it was, but there's a buddy of mine that had said like, hey, he's very high in the political sphere. He's like, they're looking for The Rock to run. I was like, when? And he's like, probably not this time, but like 2028. I was like, really? So he said like, yeah, like if you can get him on site, it's like, hey, listen, everyone loves you. You have a base for many different reasons, from stuff in Hawaii, from WWE, you're acting, would you ever run for president? But he was like coming down the line, and he was kind of like saying hey to people, but he wasn't really like sitting there and talking. So I go live on it, like, Rocky, everybody loves you. Will you ever run for president? And he's like, and he doesn't say yes or no. He just says like, does his rock thing. So that got like 6,000 views, and then the only other one that got above like 4,000 was 2022. I'm at this thing called Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. Have you heard of it?
Mm.
It's for those that don't know, it's an awesome, fun cosplay thing. And my friend Lilith, she comes back from the gym as I'm just going live for like 30 minutes, and she's like, "Hey, I need to show you something." She's from Austria. I was like, "Oh yeah," point the camera to her. I was like, "What's going on?" And she just like jumps up and down, so her boobies like go up, and I was like, "Well, you just it was a funny like 20-second clip, and that got like 4,000 views because reason. So I imagine that's. Do you have some of the views on your videos? Like how high did they go? Were they in the thousands?
Yeah, I think my highest one has like 40K was where I pulled it.
Oh shit! What years was this? This has got to be old school, like 2010, right?
It was the Anaconda video. It was like twerking to Nicki Minaj's Anaconda, like on my bed.
I can imagine that getting a lot of it. And what year was this?
Whenever that song came out.
That came out in 2014. So this was figure 11 and a half years ago. So you're in your mid-20s. You're just like prime Zen. Okay, yeah, I could see that. 40,000 views. Me and Bill trying to get 1,000 subscribers. So good. Well, VeVe Zombie, you need to get good-looking blonde to twerk to Anaconda, and then you'll get it. And then you'll get it.
I never push my thing. I'm trying to get watch hours so I can get monetized on my YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah, you need the 5,000 hours, right?
I need 5,000 hours. I'm at like 600.
Okay. Oh, all right. So you need like streaming is like a cheat code. So you need to.
That's what I keep hearing, but it hasn't so far.
Okay. Well, you only do it every other week, right? You only do it every other Thursday.
Yeah.
You need to think of a clickbaity title. All right, so
it's so not me. I know. I need a clickbaity title. I need a hook.
Yeah, we need to do something where we open like Pokemon packs, like or talk about Pokemon. Like next in 2 Thursdays, we'll do a Pokemon thing. I mean, we could talk about it now, but so there's a lot of TikToks that I see where you have these really like.
I don't know if it's because we schedule it too. Because like I don't understand when I'm like in the YouTube stream with the live streams and flicking through, like it's the most nonsense, like and they have like 100, 200 people watching live. And I'm like, is it because we schedule it and stuff instead of just I randomly click the live button? Like, I don't know. Because it doesn't seem like I thought maybe we needed the vertical version, but the streaming thing we're using, I can do horizontal and vertical, but it doesn't seem like it's still not putting it in the live feed for people to find. So I don't know.
I don't put any hashtags in it. I don't put so like most of my.
Yeah, but you have a following. But I see people with no one who get put in that live stream feed, and I don't know how or why I'm not getting in there.
So everyone go in and subscribe to it. Is it just Zen Alegra? That's the.
You can look up Zen Alegra, and mine usually comes up. I think my actual handle is Seeking My Zen.
Okay. So everyone go to Seeking My Zen on YouTube or Zen Alegra, and that should come up. And go subscribe. Go get that bread.
I hate it because I'm so not that person, and I've realized we've done how many episodes, and not once have I been like, "Oh my god, y'all, you need to! I'm trying to get watch hours. Please go."
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Go. Ignore my stuff. Go on her stuff. Go on.
I appreciate that you posted my link after you saw I put it up because I know we were talking about it.
I did. So I didn't even. I deleted my own and then I put on yours.
Thank you.
So let me. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go on my phone.
I don't know if I should. I know you get more streams too for us on X, and I don't know if I should try and revive my presence on X. I hate doing a bunch of socials. It's very overwhelming. But the other one I thought about was Rumble too. Have you messed with Rumble at all?
I have not. What's Rumble? Give me an overview because I'm
I
jumping
think
on it.
their whole pitch is like they're more free speech platform, but I also understand that I think you can monetize from the get-go as well. Like there's no
Okay.
tier you need to hit. But I think they're more known for a free speech platform. It seems a lot of the conservative right is there as well, like X.
Okay, that's dope. Wait, Parler was Kanye West, right? Who owns Rumble?
I don't remember.
Okay, so I feel like some of our stuff is so
But I
this is
know a
one of the
lot
things
of conspiracy folks will post over there too. So
love that. We had Zombie saying he and this guy Bill Gardner had a we all love conspiracies. Like they've all been on the podcast and we go super deep. They actually go a little bit harder than I do because I even though I've seen a bunch of I'm dumb enough or I'm smart enough to say that I'm dumb enough that I don't know 100% like flat Earth or what's it called, like hollow Earth or moon landing theory. I have no idea. I mean, there's a bunch of smart people that I think are apolitical enough where they're just smart and like this, what but I have no idea. Um, but that is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is libertarianism. Um, you're very libertarian, like I think more so than me, where you, even though you're one of the people that I think definitely deserve to get some of those benefits, to get some of those things that should be afforded to people that like you that deserve it, you choose to not take it because based on your principles, you say that that's stolen money,
yeah.
that shouldn't belong to anyone, that the government shouldn't have that. And I love that about you. But and again, I consider myself mostly libertarian in the late 2000s and throughout like all of the 2010s and even early 2020s. But I feel like our stances quickly became very right and very MAGA in the last several years. What do you feel about the ICE agents that I feel like most of what they do is just taking out like dirty criminals, like people that are like sex offenders and violent criminals, and they but a lot of the viral clips are these ICE agents like tackling these like 80-year-old men or like they're deporting like poor Maria that's been in the country for 20 years that came in the Bush administration and she never did anything wrong. And it's like, unfortunately, those are the clips that go viral.
Yeah.
And it seems that a lot of people in Minnesota, including at least one of my friends, is just like, he's like, I'm worried for my life. I carry my passport everywhere, but he says that you have these white people that are picking up their minority coworkers so they can go like travel to work together because the minority is super scared. I don't think they should be, but I don't live in Minnesota. As a libertarian, we should really dislike what the government is doing, but I think the situation is very extreme, and I think we should allow them to do what they're doing. But maybe that's anti-libertarian. I want your views on this because I don't know where to stand.
Well, to say, libertarians, it's like herding cats. Libertarians don't agree with libertarians, but I think that's part of the beauty is that it's an umbrella for
Yeah,
people. We don't have to agree on everything.
yeah,
But as libertarians, we should be agreeing on the non-aggression principle. So, because I know we have libertarians on both sides, because about illegal immigration from a property rights standpoint. And then you also have libertarians that lean more anarchist, that it's like these are fake boundaries, you know.
yeah.
I grew up with the Mexicans. I have a lot of respect for them, their culture. They're hard working people. Um, there's a lot of things I feel like I learned from growing up around them. Um, I do think we should be going after illegals that we know are wanted criminals. That seems like a total obvious to me.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
don't really know that we should or expend the energy on people who have been here just working. I think we should try to stop the flow. We definitely don't need any more. But as far as like extracting people, it really should be, I think, criminals only at this point, especially when you have so many states that are adamant about being sanctuary states and cities. Like, I don't know, does that fall under their state rights to decide to cover those kind of people because they're okay with having them in their community?
That first line of we should only deport criminals, and it's like I feel like maybe we should amend that to like violent criminals, because if you're here illegally, you're technically a criminal. But if you're here and you're just working your 9 to 5 job and you come home and maybe you don't pay taxes, I don't care about that. But maybe just if you're just chill and you're trying to raise your kids to just be like, hey, go to school and teach them to be good, that's fine. But again, like, where do you draw that line? Like, what is teaching your kids to be good? Like, it's, let's say you teach them to become, and then they're good, but they're just like really like far left or far right. It could be either or, and it's like, okay, well, they're too far. Like where does that end? That gets really hard. I feel like as long as they're nonviolent, even if their political sides are, as long as they're not too far left or right, it's probably okay. But like what is illegal? Like obviously, it's some people that came here, through illegal means, but if they're not violent, I think that's fine. But again, where do you draw that line?
That's a rough one on where that line should be, because like you don't want to encourage it. I get the whole pathway to citizenship, and I think like that's a good idea for like like we're talking about people who may have been here decades or more, that have been just living and working a good amount, that have been paying taxes. But I get the other argument too, that you don't want to be like, oh, you did something illegal, but now it's okay, we'll make it okay. Like I get that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and people that have been here so long, how do you send them back? Where are you sending them back to? Like,
yeah. I mean, as a libertarian, if you're not paying taxes, like, good, don't pay taxes. Heck the IRS, but
that's one other
like,
thing that bothers me too, because I'm against the whole social security numbers and documentation that we have now, like leading into this digital national ID. I don't like how they're trying to use the illegal immigration thing to push more tracking, more, it's like, you're not required by law to have identification here. You're not required to get a social security number and all this stuff. So when they start like going after people and they're like, oh, well, unless you have your papers, we're going to throw you in a cage. It's like, hey, I can't.
Yeah. So I remember this is like 12 years ago now, at one of the pork fests, 2014 to 2017, whichever one, they tried to implement a rule of like, hey, if you bought a ticket and you're claiming you're the person that bought the ticket, like I guess there was some fraud in like 2011, 2012, where they're just like, some people were claiming tickets for people that they knew they were big in the community and nobody checked IDs because, libertarianism. But then it's like, okay, somebody already claimed your ticket. Like, how do we deal with this? And then some of the founders were just like, we're going to need to ask people for ID. And then there was a bunch of pushback. Like, that's part of libertarianism. Like, you shouldn't have to ask for ID. But then we have this voter fraud. And I know Ron Paul was against having like a federal ID, but now, like, when you have this federal fraud of people putting in a bunch of votes for one person and they don't have to show ID, now that the times have changed, maybe you could say that Ron Paul was right in the mid 2000s, but now maybe because times have changed, like, we can amend that to say that you probably should be able to. I don't know what, I know you're anti that, but again, now that there's a bunch of fraud with that, how do you go and combat the fraud?
That's a good question, because like originally how we would have done it is that it would have been community verification. You know what I'm saying? Where it really didn't matter if you had ID because everyone else in the neighborhood knew that you also lived in the neighborhood. So when you got together for primaries and stuff, it's a lot harder now because we're all kind of isolated. Yeah. We definitely, there's not enough encryption or privacy. It sucks because exactly, it's like, how do you get around that without going into biometrics or an ID system?
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
I remember in one of the Comic-Cons the last like several years, or maybe it was Amazon, whatever, like you can get a chip that you put into your arm and then you have your like credit card information in there. And for like super rich people, I get it. Like, oh yeah, just go in, scan, boom, done. People tend to value convenience, and they tend to value, time. I think who was it? Was it Jeff Bezos or whoever the dude from Apple was? Where it's just like people value convenience and price, and how fast can you get something to them, and that's an easy way to get people to go into a store and come out of a store. And they have this during Comic-Con where you just scan your credit card or something going in, and then you pick whatever out of this, and somehow it tracks you, and then you pick whatever out of the store, and then you just walk out with it, and you don't have to, and it does save time, and it's cool, but also it's like very big brothery. How do you feel about it? Is it like, okay, embrace the future, or is it like fight this as long as we can, because that's not a good direction to go in?
Yeah, I don't like it. And that reminds me of the unnerving news I saw today. Did you see OpenAI's new investment that was announced today?
I was aware from Disney's a while ago. What is OpenAI's new investment?
In Merge Labs. And it's Sam Altman's company that's a direct competition to Neuralink.
Okay.
Except instead of implants, they want to read your thoughts with ultrasound waves.
Okay, well, okay, well, tell me about this first as I open up another cut water. Tell me about this.
So we know that the government has been researching and working on this one, right? They want to read your thoughts with the sound waves.
Okay. And they invested $250 million to do so.
Yeah. Because they want to integrate it with the AI. They want you to be able to think to your AI. So, yeah, I know the government's been working. Yeah.
So think about the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if there's going to be a record of that, because, like, obviously, if you talk to your AI, like, type it, there's a record of that. Even if they don't use your conversations to train the other AIs, which sometimes they do. In my case with the Pokemon, they would definitely. I fucking hope. But if you're thinking to your AI, is there going to be a track to train the other? I don't know. I assume they would.
It gets worse.
I assume they would give it at least to the people that would want to buy ad space from the AI. Like, oh, he's talking about this. Let's say he's talking about having kids. Have Target and Walmart and Costco give him ads for cribs and diapers and stuff. Like, I could imagine that, but give me all of it. Give me all your yayas. Fuck. Sorry.
Yeah. So they want to be able to read your brain waves with ultrasound. How they do this is they actually want to, so they consider it gene therapy, okay? And they call it a viral vector, but basically it's using a virus to go inside and reprogram how your brain cells work. So the way that—
Do you need an implant?
No.
How do they do this then?
So I'm guessing a vaccine. So far, how they have it, you will need an implant for a receiver in the back, but they're working on not having to have the receiver actually on your body. But so basically they call it gene therapy, they call it viral vectoring or something like that, but basically it's using a virus to go in and rewire how your brain cells are working, the proteins that it's making, so that it's able to sync with these ultrasound waves.
Okay.
Yeah. So they also want to, so they think basically our brain can't process all the signaling that's going on at the same time from all the different sectors. That basically there's so much brain firing going on, and it's getting funneled into one that we're not able to use as much of our brain as we would like to. So that's part of what they want to do too. They want to better sync and read all of your neuron firings that's going on in your brain.
Okay, using molecules instead of electrodes. Okay, I see.
So I think it's really foolish to think that they're going to figure out and map how to do this and intake these signals without. They're definitely going to figure out how to reprogram and mess with people's brain signals. The first step is figuring out how to decode it, and then the next one will be how to intercept and change it.
Okay,
So
so I'm not smart enough for this to say, because they're developing an entirely new technology that connects with neurons using molecules instead of electrodes and transmit and receive information using deep reaching modalities like ultrasound and avoid implants into the brain tissue. One of these is going to work. I mean, they both could work, but which is going to be more efficient? Is it going to be Grok, or is it going to be I don't know. And even if so, I guess it could be like Grok could be more efficient in the way that it does it, but it's obviously more invasive. So if this could be, let's say, not as efficient, but it's also not as invasive, there might be a trade-off. People might pick sides. There's probably going to be one that's like the superior choice, and then with whoever's the owner of it might price people out of it. I don't know. All I know is like Elon Musk is crushing it with AI in other countries. He's getting a ton of funding from everyone else, and he's just got those connections. And Sam Altman does have certain connections, but Elon Musk is just crushing it. I would vote for Neuralink and everything over this. That's just most likely who's going to win. But also there, I forget who said this first. It was a TikTok from last year that had said that they are trying to do. They're trying, whether it was from Neuralink or something else like this, that you can basically put something, maybe it was a quantitative QEEG, a quantitative encephalography, that said that they could map out what you're thinking in dreams for the people that can't remember their dreams. And then there were companies that were trying to implant ads into those dreams. And I can't remember which companies it was or which TikTok it was, but this could be really Zombie says, have you heard of the people going inside of a Faraday room? People are experiencing a quietness in their head, but when they leave the room, they're flooded with thoughts that are not their own. All right, you go first, because I have a couple of thoughts about these.
No, I actually watched a video about that the other day. A girl was talking about it, and she was like, how come as soon as I got out of that thing, I was thinking about porn? And she was like, what are they broadcasting exactly? Like,
I have heard of people that, let's say they didn't brush, they didn't floss, or they just have bad teeth, and two fillings were like close to each other, and they were contacting the radio waves, and some radio waves were coming in, and maybe it was like Howard Stern type of stuff.
Lucille Ball. I think Lucille Ball actually talked about that back in the day. That she used to get the radio. She would hear the radio from after she got her fillings. Yeah.
That is so dope. That reminds me of on MTV's last day, their last video that they played was "Video Killed the Radio Star." In their last, music television program.
Actual MTV, which hasn't been actual MTV, I guess, in decades, but
that was the last thing they played. I was like, oh, and that apparently was the first thing that they played, like, ever. I was like, oh, it's so cool. So listen, have you ever, whether it's in a sensory deprivation tank or deep meditation, something like Elle does in Stranger Things, have you ever done this like deep meditation where you essentially experience that Zen where there's nothing in your brain.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point of meditation, is to try and get to that point where you empty out the thoughts.
Okay, so when you do that, what is the first thought that does pop in your head? And is it you that put that there, or is it someone else or something else?
Both.
Can you give specific examples?
I think it can be hard to tell sometimes where it comes from. I used to do the head covering thing, when I was like Mother Teresa for a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that really helped me discern. I felt it calmed my anxiety and stuff. And I felt like there were certain thoughts that weren't popping into my head anymore. So I do feel like our hair and our crown chakra, I guess, in a lot of they would consider, I do feel like this probably acts as a type of antenna that we're kind of unaware of. That not everything that you perceive in your head as your own thought is probably not.
Yeah, I've in a sensory deprivation tank or on acid or on, like there's some times where I'm in a vat of nothingness and then something comes in, and sometimes it is my thought because I break concentration, but sometimes it's like, how did that, and same thing with dreams. It's like I don't think they're conscious, but apparently that's your conscious way of telling your subconscious, hey, review this stuff and give me answers. And in a very weird way, that's how they communicate. It's a very archaic way of thinking, but and especially it's so strange that it's, for me, it changes when based on what you eat late at night. If you eat late at night, it gives you different dreams. Like,
I know you've told me that before. It's wild.
yeah, it's insane. And
You're like, I'm eating pizza. These dreams are going to be crazy.
I can't wait for tonight. Tonight's gonna be nuts. Like I've had ones recently. I think I've texted my new babe, but it's gonna take a little while to go to try to find them because we can text so much. Oh, okay, maybe not that bad. Breakup, showed you in bed. Okay, whatever. Chapters. Bumpy. Okay, this is going way back. Monday. Sheesh. Okay, maybe I didn't. Or maybe I texted it to another chat that we're in. Yeah, I must have. I'll tell you one that I did. Like, it was like a few days ago. I was in my kitchen, and there was this like Mexican chick that was kind of coming on to me, and I was like, I was trying to like shake her off, and then my roommate, Ernie, was like, Chavez, if you're not gonna boink her, like, I'm gonna boink her, and I was like, go boink her, and then the dream changed to me being in Queens, and I'm in a car and other people are waving hi, but they're not really waving hi. They're like in cardboard and they're being pulled along almost like a Home Alone type deal. And then I was like, okay, this is weird. And then I pull up to a house. Apparently, I'm delivering pizza. Apparently, it's like 2011, and I pull a bunch of like teenagers, and this one kid is like gives you $5 like after, because the bill's paid on credit cards. Like, this is for you, beautiful. I was like, what the heck? So I take the $5 and I go back to my car, and then suddenly I get into my car and my housemate pops in and he's just like, Randy, like, I tried to boink her, but she kept calling me Randy and I couldn't do it. I was like, well, that's fucking weird. All right, whatever. So tell me about it as we go back to the pizza place. And that, so that was one of them recently. And I don't know why I dreamt that, but I did. But there have been times where I've been in a sensory deprivation tank, or I've been in super deep meditation, and something comes into my brain and it wasn't me. and I don't know who put that. Like it wasn't my mind that put it there. And I think I told you the thing where this wasn't a sensory deprivation thing, but in Huntington, where I was in north part of Long Island, and the voice came out of me that wasn't mine. Planet Vampire says, my dad stopped smoking weed in Nam after he was singing along with a radio that wasn't turned on, and his friend turned the radio on, and he was in sync with it. My God. What do you make of that?
I kind of love that kind of stuff. It's the kind of stuff where I'm like, okay, where were you? What were you eating that day? Like, can we replicate this?
Can we?
Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna text my friend Jen. She's the have I ever told you about her? She's the one that focuses on like typically mothers that film their like toddlers talking about their past lives.
I think we talked about, I think she came up because I was talking about Dr. Stevenson, I think his book on past lives with the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay, giving her a picture of this gallery, and I'll say maybe right up, oh God, I'm drunk, up your alley. I think I texted her ally. Ugh, okay, you know, it's fine. It's fine. She knows. She knows. I don't know if I ever like I love Lucy because it tells me what to do, and it's generally good for me. But the last couple times I've taken it, it's kind of scared me because it makes me feel that none of this is real, and we're just AI. Like at the end of the day, we all conform our consciousness, our lives, like we are AI, and this is just a dream. This is just a simulation, and I'm getting like chills and like that feel of like desperation now. Like, none of this is real. It doesn't matter. Have you ever gotten that? Like what has it shown you when you've taken it? Have you ever gotten the feeling of dread from it? Like we're not a soul, we're not a person, we're just computer code, and we're just in this experience, and we're given this feeling of free will, even though it's not, even though it's just like you have free will within the simulation.
I guess is it really so unnerving to me because I feel like my faith structure kind of already said that. We're just using different words now. So like as far as like free will versus predestination, like that's a big thing in like Christian circles. Like how can we have free will if God ultimately decides and knows how it's going to end? And it's like, I think we have the illusion of free will. I think we get to make the choices in here, but God is also standing outside of time. So he already knows how it's going to end. Like a video game creator. Like you can have free will in the game, but they did write what the ending is or how many endings there are. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, there could be multiple endings, and
right.
maybe God just says like, okay, let's see what they pick. You
right.
know,
and we talk about that, like, you know, if there's multiple dimensions, that could be that. And is it your faith or your belief that determines what timeline you end up on, which is what religion has been saying. And that's now we're seeing that with like quantum physics, that your belief is influencing the outcomes. Like, well, faith has been saying that, religions have been saying that for so long.
There was a particular thing that I wrote, and I'm trying to look for it now. It should be in my notes. Maybe it's not. Oh, I thought deserts, marketing, crypto, be poor, questions. Maybe I didn't. But there was something that I wrote. Okay, here it is. It's from last year. was for a comic. I don't know if I put it in a comic. If I did, spoilers. Of how will we be judged when it's over? On the way we lived our lives. Passion. How will the next world reflect our behavior here? Do we protect the innocent or exploit the vulnerable? Is there actually life after death? Or are the memories we create here the only true afterlife? Surrendering our fate to those we leave behind. And if there is a place we go after this, who will be waiting on the other side? Is it a callous judge, a ruthless jury, a merciless executioner? How will we justify our conduct, defend our actions, and pay for our misdeeds? Or will we be welcomed unconditionally for the hell we've already endured? Questions are endless, and nothing is certain. And then I put like, but there's one guarantee. It's like daCat's coming soon. It was like such a deep thing for like a cheap payoff. But I mean, there was something a TikTok I saw the other day. It's like, if you died now, like, what would Jesus say? And it's like, why didn't you become the person I created you for? Or maybe he did, and it's like I gave you like the hardest, life. I gave you very hard on one stock, and this is how you did, and you did great. Like, I don't know. If you were to die right now, how would you feel about the life that you lived? Like, what would you rank your score as? What do you think is 1 to 10? And you could use like 8.5, 2.7, 9.9.
I don't know. A 4.
A 4? Wait, why a
4?
4? I think you're being very critical of yourself.
I am. I don't know. I haven't done what I'm supposed to do.
What are you supposed to do?
Help people.
You haven't helped people? I think you've helped people. You've
I
created
have
people.
I have nonprofit work stuff I want to do,
Like what type?
Like kind of covers a little bit of everything. Community incubator is a good name I like for it.
Okay.
But feeding people, helping people be self-sufficient, helping people start businesses, helping people do co-ops for education, childcare, just so much. But I also know that like when you go and find funding, that's where a lot of people, their visions get derailed once you start having to operate under other people's money. They have expectations of what they want.
My friend Nico, and this is like, oh God, I feel so old. This is like 16, 15 years ago. He was just like, yeah, he got his training to be a personal trainer. He got a certificate, and he's just like, I feel like I want to be a little bit bigger before I start taking people on, because even though he was, you could tell he worked out, he was still, he wasn't like brolic. He wasn't like, like, oh shit, this dude. He was like, all right, he worked out. He's a strong kid. He's 20 years old, and he wasn't, like crazy yet. He's like, I feel like I need to get bigger before people take me. So like it's like the David and Goliath, where David's side says like, you need to take this shield and take this spear before you face him, and David said like, I cannot take it, for I have not earned it, and he felt that he hadn't earned that status of like people wanting to take advice from him because he wasn't big enough yet. I mean, I'm biased because I love you. You're an awesome person. So I feel like you've, again, because you've created people as well, and you've fulfilled that destiny, and you've helped raise a couple of really awesome tiny humans, even though one's technically an adult now.
I know.
That's crazy, right?
No.
I haven't bred anyone. I hope. Hopefully. That scared me for a while. I thought you would have like an ectopic pregnancy where it's like, hey, I didn't know I was pregnant and now I'm in labor. I was like, oh God, no. But we're good. But there's oh God, I forget where I was going with this.
I'm trying to
Um,
come out of my shell. I appreciate that. I'm trying to take my little steps forward.
yeah. So you said like you want to help people create businesses, but like, yeah, I would love to help you create a business on whatever, but I feel like to help people create businesses, you need to start it like yourself. Like what business do you want to start yourself right now? Like if you could, whether it's, hey, I have a lot of knowledge in this, or I have a lot of passion in this, like which route do you go?
That's the problem. I have so many routes. I know. I just need to start and keep going. That's part of this.
Susan Bell says, I still don't know what I should be doing. Yeah, same. I got very lucky.
Like every time I see my mom, she is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I wish they would just tell me.
Same. Tom says, social engineering has always been a big thought experiment for me. Do you know the work of Jacques Fresco?
It's not ringing a bell.
Let me.
Yeah, give me more info.
QUE Fresco is American futurist. Died in 2017, but he was a American futurist and self-described social engineer, self-taught. He worked in a variety of positions related to. Have you ever seen Kyle XY?
No.
Oh, you would love it. He wrote and lectured his views on sustainable cities, energy efficiency, natural resource management, cybernetic technology, automation, and the role of science in society. Directed the Venus Project, which is a 501c nonprofit organization founded by architect, social engineer. Okay, Fresco, along with his partner Roxanne Meadows, founded this project with socioeconomic model to develop a resource-based economy for human beings utilizing technology. Okay, that's cool. I don't know how that is kept up after his.
Resource-based?
For which one?
I just heard the resource-based part. I'm like, is it
okay?
Is it like trading? Barter?
Models about resource-based economy for human beings utilizing technology. So I guess it could be bartering, could be, whichever. We can't get him on the show, unfortunately, but we did get a email back from Craig, who spells his name CREGG, like CR egg. What was his name?
Craig Lund.
Craig Lund. Who called you an oddball?
Message him. What?
I have to change your name to oddball in my phone because that's hysterical.
I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, I'm odd. Like, sir, what does he think his market is? Like, he talks about Illuminati rituals and tech. Like, of course, odd people are listening to him. But maybe I should take it. I'm going to take it as a compliment.
Zed seems a little odd. That is the greatest thing.
It was its own paragraph too. It was the last thought. Like he was over there like typing and he was like, should I send? Meh. Sounds a little odd. Like, thanks.
That reminds me of an episode of The Wild Thornberrys where Eliza.
I'm the one who asked about him.
You did?
Randy didn't even know who he was.
I didn't know who he was. He liked me. Apparently, I feel like on these podcasts, like I'm the one that goes way out there. I don't know why he called you odd. Because
I am odd, but
yeah, like we both are though. Like I don't know why he singled you out of that, but
so like I'm gonna try to take it as a compliment because like what he talks about is very odd. So
that made my day. That made my week whenever he did that on I ever
And I
did.
didn't even think you should go for it. I just messaged you like, hey, we need to get to a point where we can like try to invite people like this on because I want to talk to this guy so bad.
I really want to get so the next time. Oh, sheesh, nice. Sorry, I had one of my things do really well. Ah, shit. Yeah, one of my the Jen Scott Pickett. I do want to get her on because so why I asked if you believed in mermaids. So Jen is the one that has written a couple books about this, about past lives. And I don't know if I was watching her video, but people talking about like the Book of Enoch, and I know you're fairly religious about. Have you? What is your experience with mermaids? Whether it's researching, have you ever thought about it, or is it just like, hey, you're taking the Book of Enoch and you're interpreting it in a really weird way, and that's not how most of us interpreted it? Or have you thought of that separately?
Um, I haven't super deep dived the Book of Enoch in God, probably like 10 years. It's been a long time.
Okay.
I don't know about the references to mermaids in the Book of Enoch. Um, Usually people refer to the Book of Enoch because that's where Enoch basically is turned into an angel. Like he doesn't die on earth, he's actually ascended by God in the Book of Enoch.
Okay.
Um, but that's where the imagery, maybe you've heard of angels and stuff looking at like wheels within wheels with thousands of eyes and everything. But the
Fallen
wheels within
angels.
wheels comes from the Book of Enoch, that imagery.
So I have seen, oddly enough, from Super Smash Brothers, but fallen angels apparently wives are transformed into sirens, and
Yeah.
I guess that's
I
what
wasn't
people.
sure if that was an Enoch or a different Jewish book, but if that's why you're bringing it up, yeah. Yeah, I do
Well,
know that that's part of.
some interpretations link to mermaid-like figures, and
Mhm.
I guess some people say what people deem as mermaids are really these sirens, and they're women that are punished by God after some union to some
Yeah, to the fallen
angels.
angels. Yeah.
Yeah. So and again, this is way above my pay grade because I don't know anything about this based on maybe some of what I had from Supernatural. um but that's one thing there. And do they have powers? Do they have like what are you like, are they real? Is it just something that people see and it's supposed to be just an hallucination?
I think it's probably real or was real. There's a lot of historical references to the sirens, humanoid fish at
Okay.
sea. I believe in some old magical grimoires as well. They talk about mermaid parts,
What are grimoires?
magic occult texts.
Okay.
So I lean towards probably yes. There's also lineage in like European royalty that claims that they're related to sirens.
Okay.
So
There's
they like to say like, oh well, those families just made up those claims because for notoriety or something. But I don't know, it's pretty specific.
I'm gonna give you my Amazon Prime login to watch. There's a documentary which apparently half of it is true, and like there's a couple things in there that's false. Like they're the evidence up until like the last like half is like like that's all true, but then there's like a couple videos that's like, okay, this isn't real. Um, it's called Mermaids: The Body Found, and it's from like 15 years ago, and it's about these scientists that were they found something, like there was a bunch of beached whales on some island or wherever, and they're like, let's go. Okay, we're a bunch of biologists. Let's go see, why they came here. Is there something in them that tells us why the migration patterns moved? Whatever. But then there's like the government of whatever country they're in. There's like, no, 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 can't come in here. This is not, like, no, like, go away. And that's how this whole documentary began. And and that part is real, but then I guess there's some part of the end that's not. Well, I'll give you the thing, and you can probably discern it. Comments over here. This is in the one episode of Gilmore. Yeah, I get like I get made fun of all the time. Like, oh, Randy asking his 93% male viewers if you've ever seen that one episode of Gilmore Girls.
I haven't even watched Gilmore Girls.
I know. And okay, have you used the Netflix to watch the rest of Stranger Things though?
No, I don't have the
Then why
Netflix
not?
login. You have to give it to me.
I gave it to you. You're in it. You're in my logins, right? Are you
I
not?
don't think I have it anymore. I think when I tried to log into Netflix, it said that maybe you changed your password.
Well, you're in, and you're still under Bay, which I might have to.
You can change it. There's no tell your girlie I'm sorry. There's no no worries.
I'm gonna have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to change that. I have a couple. Oh God, this is horrible. Okay, all right, we'll definitely change it. Anyway, yeah, I want to get some other people on here, whether it's Craig, whether it's Jen, whether it's people to just say like, hey, like, so there's this one guy. Well, his first name's Michael, and you could have 6,000 Michaels in the U.S. military. Where he had deployment to Afghanistan, where apparently there's something there that is not, that you're not, like, he didn't see it, but he served with someone that did see it, that there's this type of monster in some of these caves, that it wasn't, kind of like a Bigfoot version of the US but for Afghanistan. So it's wild how every region has these stories about this. Like in Mexico, it's La Llorona. In Canada, it's God, what's the it's not Bigfoot. It's like the Sasquatch. Different part. Like it's all these. And in the Amazon, there's like still dinosaurs apparently. I don't know. What do you think about that? Or a lot of these stories just like, okay, they're urban legends to scare kids, and some people, they just grow up with it, and then they think they see something, but it's probably just a bear with like mange, or it's probably just the local wildlife, and they don't know what they're seeing, or maybe they're on drugs. Like, what do you think of the supernatural in general? Do you believe in Wendigos? Do you believe in all this stuff, or is it like probably not real?
Yeah, there's too many matching stories from different cultures that were isolated. That's a little
Yeah, that's my friend Mike, who's apparently served with someone that has seen the giant of Kandahar in Afghanistan. And Afghanistan, well, let's try to get someone on next time. Well, if I ask you now, like, do you want to talk about mermaids? Do you want to talk about past lives? Do you want to talk about supernatural? Like, who do you want me to try to get on? I can clearly try to go and email Craig again.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that, because I definitely want to talk to him. I've started listening to his book, and then I'm gonna, whatever interviews he ended up doing recently, he said he was gonna do, I'm gonna watch those too. But his book, I'm trying, but it's a little hard to get through.
What is it, like, boring part of it, or is it like?
No, it's very explicit.
Okay.
So
We'll have to tell him. Well, I mean, for you two, like, I've never. The only time I've gotten banned, it wasn't even banned. It was where they took my revenues or whatever, and they're like, this isn't suitable for a lot of advertisers. Is when I made a video on Mr. Potato Head and how they were not calling him Mr. Potato Head anymore, and they were just calling them like the Potato Head because it was too like gender normative. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That was the only time.
Well, I mean, his book talks about his personal experience and rituals and stuff he's seen, and so he doesn't hold back. He talks about it. So, we're talking Epstein type shit.
That's why. So there was a.
So, and he describes it all, that's why I'm saying, like, it's funny because in his interviews he even says, like, yeah, it's my book, but I don't suggest anyone read it, which is a weird thing to say as an author. And he's like, I kind of wish I could go back and redo it. He's like, but because it is. And even in the reviews, people are like, what is this? Just a smut book? Like, why did you need to describe all this? And it's like, for me, it's just like pacing, as far as like what I'm allowing into my mental space, you know what I mean? While reading and thinking about certain concepts. Like, I just can't completely soak my brain in that for too long. It starts bringing me down. So it's like, I'm listening to it, but it's in pieces because it is heavy.
That's part of the reason why I love you so much. There was the video I saw a few months ago where this guy was playing some Pokemon game from like Gen 4, Gen 5, and he found a shiny like Graveler, and he calls his friend and he's just like, what is the best way to play this? Because ChatGPT, as we've determined, is horrible at playing Pokemon games. So he's just like, how do I play this? And he's like, okay, I've done this before. The Graveler has 4 moves that it can choose from. It's completely random, and 2 of them will make it so that you can't catch them. One was like self-destruct, and one was explosion. And either of those moves make it so that the Pokemon faints and you can't catch them. And it was shiny. He didn't have the Master Ball. So it's like, your best bet is to just put it to sleep. You don't have a Pokemon that can put it to sleep, confuse it, or maybe like slightly damage it so you could throw a Great Ball, Ultra Ball, whatever. And I feel like you have this knowledge of, hey, like, you can do 1 or 2 things to it, but you have this knowledge. It's like, this is the best route to go to it. And I wish that I could absorb your knowledge that you've probably taken, I don't know, 1,000 hours of this stuff, whether it's from, what did you say? It was the buildings of Ferris wheels and the buildings of certain things, and then how do you, what's the weirdest thing that you've looked at that makes sense to you, but other people would find a little woo-woo?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Because you found stuff that's definitely like, hey, this is weird. Like,
the weirdest, I
weird
feel like that's a daily occurrence in my research. I'm just like, what the fuck is okay? And then I just have to keep,
the most recent one that you found, like, what the heck is this? This is strange. Even if most people would find it woo-woo.
I'm on the Ferris wheel thing. I've been following that one still more. Because,
tell us about
that. Okay, so Craig Lund, he had randomly said in one of his interviews about that, the elites are accelerating their plans. Okay, let me just, do you know what like his whole premise is?
I actually don't. No, tell us about Craig Lund. Tell us about him.
Okay, so he was working in tech, okay, like earlier with the computer stuff, right? And basically like finds the Illuminati.
Early? Like 90s, 2000s?
Oh, I don't know. 80s? I don't know.
Okay. Oh, wow. Or early. Okay.
Earlier. And basically starts getting pulled into the Illuminati type shit.
Okay.
But anyway, so his whole thing is that they're trying to build tech infrastructure they want to punch a hole in the veil, like the veil between worlds, and they want to save their fallen brethren that God has locked up, because from the
fallen brethren.
Right. Well, from the elite's point of view, the demons are the good side. And the creator god is the evil one trying to keep them trapped, you know. So basically the elite, he's saying, with the tech, are trying to break a hole in the veil to help get their fallen brethren out so that they can go to war with God. So,
Wait,
but
because they
yeah,
believe God is fake? Like the God
they
that we
believe that
believe?
they believe the God we believe is the evil God, that we have the roles.
So this is the
swapped.
fake Jesus that they're talking about?
He had mentioned that basically that they laugh about Jesus, but they're actually scared of the real Yahweh.
Okay.
And that's why I'd seen him dip into it. And I was like, I would love to talk about that more because that's something that I
So
research and
so
look
the
into.
elite is convinced that the what everyone else describes as the real Jesus is the fake Yahweh.
Right. Well, they probably laugh that they have helped promote a fake version that, you know, we have so many denominations and arguing about specifics that they definitely have their hands in with the Catholic Church and stuff. Um,
So there was something that
so his
this is
viewpoint is that they're doing all this tech infrastructure because they are trying to basically bring back the fallen ones.
who are the fallen ones?
That would be like what you're talking about with the sirens and stuff. So
Okay.
Nephilim, fallen angels,
Okay. So would
who would have
Lucifer
been
count as
locked
the
up.
fallen ones?
Huh?
Would Lucifer count as one of the fallen ones?
Yeah.
So they're trying to are
Yeah.
they trying to bring back Lucifer?
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on that? Are we wrong or are they wrong? Like is history wrong and what we deem as Lucifer as one of the fallen angels, is that wrong? And do you think they're right?
Well, that's where like Gnosticism comes in, and that's like a split of Christianity that basically says that Old Testament God is the evil God, the demiurge.
Wait,
But
who
then
because Jesus is not in the Old Testament, right?
right, right.
So
So
who's the Old
Gnostic
Testament God?
Gnostic Christians believe in the demiurge, kind of like the Illuminati, but they do believe that Jesus is the good one still.
So in this scenario, how do you what what do you believe in?
Jesus. The real one.
So the real Jesus is what they believe in or what we've been taught and they're tripping.
Gonna say what some churches try to promote as Jesus versus the actual Jesus we see in biblical text. Those can be very different. Like even
Um
just commonly, like you can see like the right will kind of use the Jesus thing to look down on gays, but like at the same time, the real Jesus was actually sitting down for dinner with
yeah.
prostitutes and stuff, such. So just an easy example of just like real Jesus over here, and then the Jesus they use in name to push agendas.
That's hard because even if you have people that started that type of thinking and they said like, hey, regardless of what's actually true, this is what's best for humanity. This is what's best, how we get people to get closer to God, and their agenda was true and real. You know, those agendas change, and that's very hard. Fuck, I don't know what's real. I from my many trips on Lucy, I have no idea if any of this is real, if any of it matters. Um, what would you do if at the end you just realize you're just part of some not 8-bit or 16-bit or 32-bit, 64, 128, what's that 256, you know, 1,000. What would you do if you're just some part of data? You know, if you die and you're just like, I'm just a one millionth of a piece of data and everything I experience is going to like a socialism type thing. It's going to the top and it's training the real AI, and I have to go and live life again.
I hope it was amusing. I hope I was amusing. I hope maybe I found some bugs in the system that they were. I hope whatever data they're taking, they were like, oh, we didn't know. I hope it was useful.
Yeah, I think that, and now
I don't
it's
want to go again. I'm done. This is the last one. I don't want to go again.
I think that you're unique because a lot of people get the uniqueness beaten out of them from like by age like 10 or 11 or 12, and then they have like the pressures of middle school and high school, and they get a lot of that stuff beaten out of them. And some people that are lucky, they, especially with social media, they get to be weird on social media like me, and then like I just got lucky that people like my 90s references, and you know I was born in a time that I could make these, you know, hop toast, rubber goose, green moose, guava juice, you know, like these like 90s references with Timmy Turner and Jimmy Neutron and Pokemon. I feel like if you went and talked about the stuff that you really liked, and you put everything like on Woof, like on, hey, here's TikTok, here's Facebook, here's Instagram, here's whatever, and you do stuff with AI. um I remember in like 2013, 2014, you said like, yeah, I'm still here, but I'm hiding. Why would you hide what people originally like? Why would you hide yourself from the stuff that people responded to? Were you too timid? Were you too scared? What was the reason for that?
Oh, okay. I got, how do I felt almost like a zoo exhibit at that point. Cause yeah, with the libertarian thing, like I had maxed out my friends on Facebook and yada yada. And it just became like everyone watching. I didn't actually know any of these people. And I kind of got sick of, I don't know, exposing more of my inner stuff to so many people. So yeah, I kind of went into hiding for a while.
Yeah, I understand that. Now that you're starting to really go about this again, have you thought about putting yourself out there more and being like,
I'm
hey,
trying. That's why I'm here.
good, good. What is what it is that what is it that you want from life? There's a scene in Once Upon a Time in Mexico where Antonio Banderas is talking to Selma Hayek, and he says, "¿Qué quieres en la vida?" Which means like, what do you want in life? And it's the same thing that Uncle Iroh asks Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender, where he says, what is it that you want out of life?"
What do I want out of life? Want to help people get free. I don't like this system. People don't have enough choices. Yeah,
How do you plan to help them do that?
it's the nonprofit work. There's no out. There's no out. Like you can't play, like if this is a simulation, you can't play the human game anymore. If you do though, you have to play the society game for a while, and maybe you can get enough money, and then maybe you can go play the human game, but you can't really, you can't just do human things. Like you can't, you know, like you play a little simulator, you just get dropped in the woods and it's like, okay, we need to gather trees and we need 10 trees and we put together a house and then we upgrade the house. Like you can't play the human game. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They make you go into the system. Like there's no way around it.
So how do you plan to do it? Do you plan to play the game? Do you plan to marry someone that has played the game and mastered it? And then you part of that person's
I
wealth?
don't know. I'm still hoping to get a memo. I mean, I've thought about it and I know how I can step by step. I just need to start.
How would you do it step by step?
need to start feeding people. We need to start helping people that they can feed themselves. I feel like gardening is the first intro to that. We need to help people get more food self-sufficient.
Do you remember Emily Lance?
I don't think so.
She got in trouble like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, because she peed on the American flag. And everyone, like, a lot of the internet is like, fuck this bitch, fuck this horrible person. And it's like, for me, like, at the time I was serving, I was like, listen, as a veteran, like, you serve because you want to give everyone free speech. And yeah, what she did was, I think, was not cool, and I think that's horrible for the people that served so that she could do that, but she can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so I got her on the podcast, and so she's an awesome person. I should text her right now. Actually, we shouldn't call her, right? We should only just text her.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Meow. But meow, come on the podcast soon, and then I will shoot her a text. Oh God, I'm on a different text. Gonna do this, gonna do that. I'm gonna share, copy link, and okay. How do you feel about and I guess we're gonna come full circle here with Destiny and ICE and all that. How do you want to be remembered? Is it just someone that, like, defended against the policies right now, or is it just like, hey, the policies right now are not ideally what we would want, but it's just something that we need for the time that we have, like, in the current times that we are in right now?
Well, I hope I'm remembered for sharing love. I hope that's it.
I hope that too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to give you questions on what your kids and possibly grandkids would be able to look at you for, because I feel like we have a very unique time right now where we can, a lot of our parents and grandparents' thoughts, we just don't, like, there's no recordings of them. Actually, I've seen I've seen some people that are in their 20s, maybe 30s, that have watched Stranger Things with their parents through all 5 seasons, and they're just like, and their parents are just like, "What happened to the black one?" Like, "You mean Lucas? Yeah, yeah, the black one." And they don't understand things. It's like, and what happened to like the little gay ones? Like, Will? He's like, "Yeah, yeah, the one that they want to, um I feel like they don't get it, but I feel like a lot of millennials and below, we can still watch a new series and understand the characters. Like, I still understand a lot of the characters about Madoka Magica or whatever whatever it's called. Um, I don't know. Like, what advice do you have to give to the younger generation?
Keep questioning stuff. Keep thinking for yourself. Do your research. Yeah.
And what things have you done that would still be relevant today for the 15-year-old that's listening?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, back in the day, our parents say, like, no, you get a job, you stay with the same company for 30 years, and they'll reward you for it. They'll reward you for your loyalty. And nowadays it's like, I can change jobs every 3 years, and they'll give me, instead of a 3% raise for staying with the same company, they'll give me a 15% raise because I'm switching. A lot of boomers and Gen X's kind of don't understand the job market. They don't understand just the way the world is now. But nowadays, like, we kind of have that advantage over the Gen X and boomer generation.
I think That advice is going to translate every generation, and especially going forward now. Just questioning everything.
If you could have one, whether it's a video game or a movie or show that you could watch, play, or view for the first time, what would it be and why?
If I could watch it again for the first time? Is that what you're saying?
If you could watch or play or view a video game, movie, or book or show for the first time, what would it be?
I guess Madoka.
Is there any new updates on that?
No, I haven't checked actually. You mentioned it earlier, and I'm like, oh, I need to see what's with the new movie. It was supposed to be soon. It was supposed to be.
I still
I
tell
don't know,
people
but
that.
I feel like there's no experiencing that for the first time again. Like,
Yeah, you're right, because I still tell people about that. I do have to preface it where I say, like, listen, my girlfriend at the time, she watched it with me because I can't tell people in like their 30s, like, hey, watch this show because there's a bunch of like fan service for like these like middle school type girls. Like I can't tell them to watch it by themselves. That's a little weird. But if you watch it with a girlfriend, if you watch it with a girl, like once you get to like the fourth or fifth episode, it's like amazing. It's so it's
mhm.
I the only other thing that was so unassuming that I thought wouldn't be good but was good. I can't remember the name of it. It's like 4 episodes. It's this group of kids that they're in a classroom, they're in detention. It's almost like a Breakfast Club type thing, and then in there they get summoned to this like alternate reality world, and one of their friends dies, but the only one that remembers is this one kid, and everyone like doesn't remember this one kid that died, but the one kid does, and it's like, oh shit. But Madoka Magica is so similar to that because it's well, you know how it ends. Like I'm not going to
Yeah.
spoil it, but it's like
It was just so many topics and ideas, like philosophically, like overlaid, and you didn't see it coming, and it was good versus evil and time travel and
like I'm not going to lie, that
so
kind of messed
good.
me up. Like that kind of fucked me up. It was like, oh my god, like I thought I knew deep anime, and then it just it started so unassuming. Like this is a little weird, but okay, I'll watch it. It's still good, but then it's like, oh sheesh. And listen, that's probably one of the best animes I've ever watched, and I've watched a ton of anime. Um, yeah, that's so good, and I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't like that because I like that. That's such good writing. Like
Yeah,
that.
the ideas that they're playing with are just so much deeper than it just leads on for what kind of show it is. Yeah.
Like I understand Sailor Moon and Pokemon and Attack on Titan because it's this one little universe that like okay, here's what happens, but this is so deep and so big and so like fuck. What if that
Yeah.
happens? Like
And you
what
start
would you
playing with what negative outcomes come from when you're just trying to do good, and yeah,
yeah.
so good.
That's that oh god, that's so rough. That's so like
I know.
if I do anything for the first time again, that's in the top 5. Like, there's
Yeah.
Pokemon, there's Star Fox, but Madoka Magica is definitely in the top 5, and I wish it wasn't because it's scary. It's like, you could have someone that you deem as, like, a really good friend or a best friend, and then they turn out to be, like, almost this psychosis thing, like, what your best friend can do shouldn't be possible, and that makes you question everything about your reality. And that I'm not gonna lie, that still messes me up, like, to this day, because you've heard the phrase before, like when like NFL sportscasters like, you can't make this up. This person lateral to the right and they got a touchdown from the fit. Like, and it's like, that's sports. That's something that's fairly simple. But when you're talking about these, I get very scared about that. I don't know. I don't know how to deal with it. How do you deal with the fact that something like that might be real? And it could be happening right now to us.
Still got bills to pay. I'm with the people that are just like, oh, they announced aliens. Like, okay, is rent still due?
Yeah,
let me know when that stops.
dude, I love that about humans, that they're just so unimpressed. Be like, you cured cancer? Okay, I still have rent. I still have car insurance. Like, you know.
Like,
I
I always see that they're like, oh, this crazy thing happened, and you go in the comments, they're like, we still got to go to work tomorrow. Like, let me know when that changes.
What's been your viral TikTok that you've gotten into recently?
I don't know. I told you I'm chasing the Ferris wheels right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we got off topic with that.
What
But
what what
anyway,
have you discovered about that? Like, what's
because
the
Craig
big?
Lund had said that basically he overheard a conversation and they were talking about the Ferris wheels that, and it was before they started building them. So he was telling his friends, like, well, when you start seeing these big Ferris wheels popping up everywhere, then their agenda is moving forward. And that he doesn't know exactly what they're for, but just assumes that it's part of the infrastructure. But it's interesting to think about, because if it's related to CERN and stuff, like CERN is
Oh,
underground in a
yeah,
circle like this, and they're building big in a circle like this. So I
yeah,
could see how he says it, which I think is interesting, because if, when you're dipping into this kind of stuff, like, you got to take what people say with a grain of salt. Like,
yeah,
Alex Jones with Bohemian Grove we're able to talk about because he came out with fucking receipts,
yeah,
It's like, so anyone else that sees these type of rituals, like, I like to listen to their stories, but how much I can't, stand on it, because, what's the proof?
yeah,
But it's like, if you have people who are going to come out with crazy stories and try to lie and stuff like that, generally they don't say they don't know certain things. They would be more likely to come up with a story. Like, why bring up the Ferris wheel point of information just for him
yeah,
to be like, I don't know what it's for. I just know they were talking about it. And if we start seeing them, it has something to do with their agenda. And now over the
yeah.
past 10 years, all of a sudden, all the big cities are getting the giant Ferris wheels. So I was digging more into that, and the first Ferris wheel, pops up at the Chicago World's Fair in the 1800s, right? Which we've been tracing the weird stuff with the World's Fair.
Yeah.
And then they moved it to a different part in Chicago after the World's Fair. And then they dismantled and they shipped the thing and they used it at the St. Louis World's Fair. Yeah. And then after
What
that,
year was the St. Louis Fair?
1903.
Is that where the song came from?
Mhm.
Meet me in St. Louis, Louis,
Yeah.
meet me.
And I still need to watch, there's a movie about it. I forget what old Hollywood actress is in it, but there's a Meet Me in St. Louis movie, which is, I think, where the song comes from. But that's on my list of research too. So then in
They
St. Louis, then after the World's Fair, they demolished it. And they dynamite, they blew up the fucking pieces of it. Yeah, apparently, I don't know. Yeah, they blew it up. But the one piece that they couldn't get rid of was the center axle spindle and how fucking big it was. And I was watching videos. Nobody knows where it went.
what
Yeah.
like when
So
the
that's where I'm at right now. So they built the giant Ferris wheel, the first one. It was in Chicago at the World's Fair. Then they moved it and used it at the St. Louis World's Fair. And then they demolished it. But the giant spindle axle is now missing.
so they go from like the 9/11, the Pentagon got hit by a plane, but there's no plane, like nobody knows what happens to this thing. And then they say that the Ferris wheel got demolished, but nobody knows what happened to the axle. And that's so there's
Right. But if you start thinking like esoteric energy, like if they're using this as a ritual piece, they're using it here, they're getting energy, they got all these people's emotions, they move it to this location, keep spinning it. Like, what did they use? Like, it disappeared where? What are they using it in? Where did it go? So that's what I'm tracing.
There's a, give me one sec here. I'm gonna fucking hang on. There's a theory that the Walt Disney, is buried under the, Disney World in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And then they made, a whole series about Pirates of the Caribbean. So if you Google Pirates of the Caribbean Disney, it doesn't show up of like the best. There's a joke on like, where's the best place to hide a dead body? And it's like on the second page of Google. So if you go and Google, Walt Disney Pirates of the Caribbean, you find, the Pirates of the Caribbean, stuff for the first few pages. So, Walt Disney, like conspiracy theories of if he was buried or if he was, frozen, it's going to be on like the 80th page of Google, whatever. So if you, so I grew up on like Mark McGuire. Like I love the St. Louis Cardinals, and Mark McGuire had this. He was a beast in the '90s. You had Delano DeShields, you had Royce Clayton, you had all of these amazing baseball players.
I was in Chicago, so Sosa versus McGuire was a big thing. I remember.
Yes. But if you Google like the St. Louis Cardinals in like the '80s, their theme song was "Me in St. Louis, me at the fair." And so if you Google that, you'd probably get St. Louis Cardinals Baseball Club in the '80s, and you wouldn't get the stuff that happened in like the '30s or below, or anything below the '70s. So maybe that, and this is a very big stretch, I think, but maybe that something happened way back in the day, but then they said, oh, people are, they might get curious, so let's, give this song to the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team in like the '80s, because they've been around for 100 something years. They've been around since like the 1890s. So maybe that's a good way to hide it. Or if people search for that song, or if people search for that whatever, they would only get the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team, and they wouldn't get the St. Louis Cardinals, or they wouldn't get, that particular, Ferris wheel access stuff. I could picture the government doing that, because
I feel like that definitely happens.
Yeah, because the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals at the time, Joe Buck Sr., he would have been like, yeah, give me like $50 million. Let me like, yeah, fuck it. He wouldn't give a shit. And now his son has owned it for like the past, 30, 40 years. It's like, yeah, fuck it. Probably wouldn't give a shit. Like, and honestly, like that's most people. Like if you give most people the option, like we're the government, you can either get, $40 million right now, or we can throw you in a hole and throw away the hole, and you're never going to see your loved ones. You're going to never make love to a woman again. You're going to never do whatever. The choice is yours. And like, what are people going to do? What are people going to do?
Yeah.
They're probably going to take the former. They're not going to take the latter. I mean, real talk. Like if the government were to come to you, like, the Men in Black were to say like, hey, we've seen what you've talked about, and yeah, you're on the right track. We're going to give you $20,000 a month for the rest of your life, or you're probably doing something illegal. There's so many, tens of thousands or millions of laws, and we're going to get you on that. and you're going to go in a hole. Your kids are going to foster care, and you're going to throw away the hole, and no one's going to believe you because you haven't made that big of a name for yourself yet. So do what you want, but here's the offer. Like what would you do? I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably take the money and be like, peace.
I know.
Save
I
animals.
mean, we've been in the libertarian circles a while, so that's always been, that's always been a worry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. After the divorce shit and everything, it's just like I already faced the whole ruin my life, take everything from me, and kind of already made peace with that. Like what's the worst? They're gonna send me to Jesus, or they're gonna stick me in a cell by myself? Like, probably gonna write books in there, bro. Like, probably gonna. Lots of good people in history have been imprisoned and wrote books during that time. Like, if you take me out though, I might be mad. Could you imagine me as a ghost? Like, do you know how many more things I could fuck with? I don't know if they want to do that.
Then I love you. You are so smart, and I would have. Well, my girlfriend. It's an hour 40 into this. My girlfriend doesn't listen to most of our stuff, but I would. My Boromir in 2001, or Aragorn in 2001, where it says, "I would have followed you to the end." I love you so much. I love your mind. I love you.
Thank you.
Compliment me in so many ways that I fall short in, and I view you as someone that if I don't know what the right thing to do is, I would give you a call, be like, hey, what do I do in this situation? And you're one of like 2 people that I would call for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, like, I know that if I'm getting too close to a government thing that they want to keep hidden, should the people of the world know about it? They probably should. But what are the consequences of them actually knowing about it? Even if they do know about it, how much will change versus like, hey, listen, they could not know about, like, they'll probably know about it eventually, but you could take this money and you could do your dreams of opening this, Madagascar, all the stuff that I want to do for charity. They give me like $20,000 a month, and it's like that combined with my other stuff. It's like, okay, cool, we could do it. I don't know. I'd probably give in. Maybe that makes me not a
But
good
what if that's
libertarian.
the game? What if that's the game, Randy? We're all like, what if this is just a video game? What's the point? What if that's the point? To see what we do in those situations. I don't want to come back. I want to graduate this time. So
I mean, I want to graduate. I want to do the best that I can, but it's like, like I have this issue now with maybe my girlfriend's baby daddy's not listening now. I want to be able to do what I can do and not have to worry about like supporting anyone else. And if I have to support other people to make it so, that's hard because it's like, okay, you can do this and you can go super hermit and you can do super whatever and you can get to 90% of your goals by age, like 50 before you die. But if you go this route and you support these, this other woman with maybe her kids and whatever, and it might take you longer. And instead of completing your goals at, 49, you complete your goals at 64. Yeah, you have to live an extra 15 years. You have to do an extra whatever, but you can accomplish more. And in the grand scheme of things of the universe, 16 years is nothing. A billion years is almost nothing. And it's like, if you can do that and sacrifice that part of your life, which again, at the end of the day is nothing. Like, how many summers do people get? If they're lucky, people get 80 plus summers. I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm surprised I've made it this far. If you had one thing to tell the people of, whether it's the boomers, Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, like what do you tell them? How do you tell them to proceed in this life that we know it as?
I don't know. I'm still trying to suss what the question is.
I don't know what the question is. You know how many of these I freaking had today, Zen?
Do your own research. Keep an open mind. Love people. Is this that hard?
It is hard.
I know. Why?
I mean, I think because boomers and Gen X didn't really have to deal with the consequence. Like, there's so little technology development in the previous years. Like, maybe people in the 1820s to 1890s, like 70 years, they had like the cotton gin, they had the printing press. But then, from 1890s to 1930s, 40 years, they had the invention of the car, they had the invention of flight. Like, shit, what's going to happen? The invention of television, radio, and then 40 years later, from the 30s to the 70s, they had World War II, and they had so many different things that were just seemed impossible, and they had color TV, and they just had so many, like they seem to have so many technological advances, but every generation had one or two technological advances. And then once the 80s came around, suddenly they had television, they had MTV, they had the beginnings of the internet, they had the first commercial text messaging. From the 80s to the 2000s, in 20 years, they had so much shit. How do parents combat that? How do they raise children in that? That's like impossible.
I know. We're a weird generation.
Yeah. Very weird. That's
Remember being afraid to turn on the internet on your phone? And now we're like doing this on my phone.
yeah, I remember being afraid
like $5
to
a second. Turn it off. Turn it off.
I remember having Verizon like, dude, we're in, because if you called
Oh, if you're on the
after
same network?
Yeah, because if you called after 7 o'clock, it was free from Verizon to Verizon. And that's the thing that, like, you had these companies that were just like, yeah, you can call anyone from anywhere in the world. It's going to be 30 cents a minute, though. And then when the cell phone companies came out and technology advanced, it's like, no, it's free. Just make sure you're in the same company, Verizon to Verizon, AT&T to AT&T, whatever, and it's free. And then all of these internet companies are just like, no, they tried to lobby Congress, tried to lobby the US, and it was like, no, that's going to be horrible. And it's the same thing now, where you have Coinbase and Binance and everyone trying to say like, yeah, let us have the exchanges of the world. And the big banks are saying like, no, you can't let them offer things for stable coins, because we have treasury bills that are like 3.5%, but they're offering stablecoin bills that are like 5%. And if you allow that, that's going to take away business from the banks. And it's the same thing as the .com bubble, but it's just different now. And that seems to be what's happening. And that seems like the new battle of this next generation. They try to distract us, but also I am drunk as heck. I don't know how long this is going to go on for. What are you drinking over there?
Coffee. I'm butter pecan today.
Okay. I should drink that. Heck.
I did have something to ask you about, though, because you're always
Sure.
like, oh, is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, ask away.
I've been watching stuff on like the Disney adults, right? Do you?
Tell me about the Disney adult stuff.
Okay, pretty much people who I guess their whole life or identity is around Disney and going to Disney World and,
Okay.
okay. So in my research, because, I've been researching theme parks and this kind of stuff.
Of course.
So I don't know if you're aware of this, but as far as like the company Disney right now, their big profit is the parks.
Okay.
They so much so that a lot of the new media and movies they've been putting out, you're probably aware, a lot of them have not been making money.
Yes.
And they've been losing money on a lot of movies they've been putting out. But it is the theme parks that have basically been funding the Disney propaganda machine. So they're able to put out these failing movies because they're making so much extra profit from the parks, which is generally attributed to the Disney adults who are willing to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for stuff at the parks, which has pushed out what you would think should be their marketing base, which is kids. That most of Disney's market now, they're selling nostalgia at higher prices at the park to fund, I would say, a propaganda machine. I'm sure you might agree with this too, of what Disney has been doing.
Yeah.
That they're not putting out stuff that generally resonates. They're putting out their own agenda and messaging.
So this takes me back to when Tumblr started banning porn. This is like 2014, 2015. And the usership just went way down. And because they started banning it, they started banning a lot of things. But porn was like one of the big ones. And then people are just like, yeah, Tumblr's dead. Tumblr's, done, whatever. And then for whatever reason, Hot Topic made a deal with Tumblr. And they started putting Tumblr merch in Hot Topic. And then Tumblr had a resurgence again in the time that they restarted allowing porn. I'm like, wow, what are these Tumblr numbers going up? And it's like, oh, well, they started allowing porn again. And that's why, a lot of young people, 16, 14 plus, they started using Tumblr again. And the reason why I bring this up is because Disney had invested, I think, $1 billion into ChatGPT or OpenAI because they own Sora.
Sora, yeah.
To develop different videos. And I know Sora has like, what, 10-second videos, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe Disney has a thing like, well, give us 30-second videos. Because do you remember the thing with the old man that was in Toy Story 2 that redid Woody, but he was like the chess piece guy in the Pixar shorts?
Yeah.
Maybe I think, and again, this is just my imagination here. It's just my thoughts, just as a business owner, that Disney had invested $1 billion into Sora so that they can give them an almost unlimited amount of 30-second clips that they say like 95% of it's trash, but 5% of it's like, this is good. We're going to put this, we're going to give this to test audiences, like almost like Nickelodeon's Oh Yeah cartoons. Most of it is trash, but some of the stuff that really connects with the audience, we're going to develop cartoons out of. We're going to do the same thing with Disney. And so not only did they do that with Sora, but I've developed a lot on Sora. I've developed a lot on other stuff. On TikTok, I get a lot of AI stuff, and a good 20% of it happens to be like AI, like I forget the name of the company or the name of whatever. Is like, do your create your own girl of Sora, and they use like the Elsa and the the blonde princesses, like build your own girl on this app. And I can't help but think that that happens to be some type of subsidiary of the Disney Sora brand, because they use that they use that, the molds of like an Elsa, and who's the chick, Rapunzel, of that lets down her hair, the other blonde chick. And it's like, okay, well, maybe this is an unofficial part of them that they're using just to collect people's data, just to collect people's whatever. And if they go and get enough people that say like, yeah, I'm going to choose this app, and I'm going to choose to build my own whatever, that they might use some of the features of those things in their next cartoons, because they do it biologically. Like, hey, why do some of these Disney princesses or these Disney characters have these big eyes and these rosy cheeks and whatever, when they're supposed to be not technically adult? And it's like, okay, well, that's what, people tend to find attractive. And it's like, I can't help but think that that has something to do with it, where they try to bioengineer or biohack. I had this thing on Facebook years ago. I'll try to find it now. Called Alibaba. And I'll try to put it through Reels, people, groups, events, post from you. I said, people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. This is not psychology, but biology. Our neocortex is responsible for our rational thought and language, and our limbic system, however, is responsible for our feelings such as trust and loyalty. And in this message from Jack Ma, he targets these two parts: the parts of our brain that control behavior and the part that rationalizes our feelings, the part where gut decisions come from. Whether the letter was from the bottom of his heart or not, I will invest in this company because it's not sketched to be the biggest IPO in history, but because its founder is a genius. And the title was, As Alibaba's IPO Approaches, Founder Jack Ma Pens a Letter to Potential Investors, and it was from 2014. So the biohacking and engineering has been happening for well over a decade. And I think that's what Disney's doing right now. They're trying to get to the AI slop, to the AI people, say, like, what are most people doing? And a fair amount of people are taking their beloved princesses and their beloved like female characters, and they're making like, how can we turn it into porn? And I think they're trying to capitalize on that in some certain way. Maybe I'm wrong, but what are your opinions on that?
Well, I think the deal is just smart because their IP is so big and covers so many things. And Disney is known for their team of lawyers actually going after people. I mean, random Etsy people will get takedown notices, So I think it's a good idea for them, because people aren't going to stop making AI stuff of Disney trademarked characters, So I think it's smart for them to come out with an avenue where people can do that legally with their IP.
Yeah.
But I guess my biggest thing was, because we've talked before about like, nostalgia and brands as far as being adults and indulging in that kind of stuff, and that it's been more okay now, and we find that really healing. But I was curious of your thoughts on that, about how that nostalgia is kind of being weaponized for this Disney propaganda machine that maybe is putting out messages that we don't agree with.
I will say that Disney's very good at that, or at least, so this is going back 30 years. Oh, God, I hate that. There was a buddy of mine that I had on recently.
Shut up, 30 years ago is the 1970s. I'm stuck still. I'm so stuck.
There's a buddy of mine I had on recently where he was talking about, like, yeah, 25 years ago, I had this, game where we were playing in our basement. It's like, oh, okay, 1980s. And I was like, 25 years ago was 2001. It's like, fuck. So old.
I know.
I don't like this. This is not good. But in the 90s, there was a show called Recess. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I don't really remember much, but I used to watch it when I was younger.
where so there was only two, I guess three cartoons that ever dealt with any type of dementia or memory loss. There was Recess, there was Adventure Time, and there was Rugrats. Recess and Rugrats in the 90s, Adventure Time in the 2000s. Adventure Time was that it was rough. The Rugrats, Stu is help building like some jungle gym for the kids. He hits his head, and suddenly he forgets who he is, and he becomes like a baby again. And the babies, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil Angelica, they take it upon themselves to teach him how to be an adult again. And then Tommy goes to Stu's room, his dad, and he starts to cry because he's like, I shouldn't have to do this. I shouldn't have to teach him how to be an adult. Like I'm 1 year old. And he starts to cry because he's like, he misses who his dad was. The outside of Adventure Time and Tommy Pickles, the only other one was Recess, where TJ tries to do something where he swings upon a swing, he hits his head, and he believes he's a kindergartner. And his friends like, just let him be a kindergartner for a while. And then he'll come back and he'll be his TJ self again. And someway halfway, and this is only 11-minute episode, halfway through it, he believes like, oh, this isn't right. I should be with my friends again. But he doesn't go with his friends again. He makes other people believe that he's still a kindergartner. And he, like 8 minutes into the episode, he's like, listen, guys, we haven't been a kindergartner in 3-4 years. Do you remember what it was like to not just make a painting with our brushes, but to finger paint and feel the colors? And I was like, oh, fuck, that's really good. Like there's a book in Fruits Basket where they say, like, even if you can't remember how exactly it was to be like a kid, you can maybe remember what it was like to do your first flip on the monkey bars or your first flip, whatever. And if you can't remember what it's like to be a kid, maybe you can remember some of the milestones, and maybe you yourself as the parent and the kid can meet each other halfway. And when TJ says, like, you can imagine what it's like to feel the colors and finger paint. So maybe Disney has had this idea of how to be nostalgic and how to weaponize this for 30 years, but they couldn't actively, they could only do it through shows. And nowadays they can do it through many other means. At the end of the day, companies are made up of people. And people have agendas, and you can manipulate those agendas. So yeah, maybe the top of the top, they would say, like, yeah, we can get the public to do this if we do this, if we incentivize this, and it's just they do whatever they do for record profits. And I know I've talked for a really long time here. Does any of this make sense?
Sure.
Did you hear anything on what I was saying?
I heard it. I don't. Disney does have a lot more avenues to weaponize the nostalgia. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're not you're not wrong. You don't even know what the point of what you were saying was, do you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What was it? Go ahead, tell me.
It was that originally Disney tried to play on nostalgia just for profit. But then eventually Disney decided to say, like, okay, the government is telling us what we can and should do for certain things, and we don't want to do it, but we can squeeze the government out of it because the government is the biggest teat of them all. And if you can get the best spot on the biggest teat of government, do what they want. And maybe something that you would have made $100 million for, now you make $500 million for each year. So that's what I think, that everyone has their price, and whoever's in government is incentivized to tell everyone with big influence, here's what you should do. and they will only do it if they are sure that they can get the people or the people that are in charge of the companies to do it for a certain price.
So do you think that the Disney has been instructed explicitly as far as things they should promote, or do you think it's more of a understanding?
I think if I go deep down the rabbit hole and I consider that the previous administration had Disney to do certain things and it bled over into this administration, yes. Because Disney had done a lot of very creatively ungodly things, like giving one of their characters a period and giving and like becoming very woke, and it's just like this is not what Disney was about. And
I just didn't know. I haven't deep dove into that. I'm going to have to now that you've, if I can find any explicit connections, because I know what you're talking about, and I would
okay.
definitely, like I'm saying, that I think they're a propaganda arm at this point, you know, for like the woke agenda. But were they explicitly told to do that, or I guess I've just kind of assumed they're just, you know, finger to the wind and trying to stay where the tides seem to be going. Like,
The
I guess my assumption would be that, you know, if it was more beneficial right now to go MAGA, that Disney would probably go MAGA. Like, I think that they probably would just wherever the wind goes, but maybe not. Maybe they have some very explicit links. I will have to look into that.
the best, and I don't know if this is well, I remember when I really got close to someone that is he's very smart, and maybe I don't know if he was playing a game to make me believe that I was smarter than I was, and maybe he's just a very good actor. But I asked him 4 years ago, and we were alone. This wasn't recorded. Nobody else was with us. I was like, hey, I have security clearances. I'm not going to tell anyone. And he was just and he had talked to me just like a normal person, like a intelligent person, like someone that is just, you know, the difference between someone that's just like, okay, this person has the IQ of like a kid, this is like a normal adult, this is like a slightly above average, this is a very above average. The person that I was talking to was at least slightly above average, if not, he was at least slightly above average in intelligence. And one day we're alone, and I asked him, like, hey, listen, you know me, you know my security clearances, like you checked me out, like is there aliens? Like, listen, I volunteered for other things in the past. I never got selected for them, but I never told anyone about them. Like, are there aliens? And if he would have told me, he's like, listen, I, I don't know. That's not my department. That's not my thing. Like, or he would have said, like, there might be. It's something that I just don't know. That's not my. But he said like a very, like if I were to tell, like if you were to ask me like, hey, like what color Gatorade is that? I was like, oh well, you know, it might look like blue, but because of the, you know, interference of certain things, and then there's a whole thing out there with the Verizon cell phone towers. Like it might look like blue, but it's actually yellow. Like it might look like blue, but it's actually yellow. But you won't be able to tell. Like you'll be able to tell that I was lying. So when I asked them about like, is is there aliens? Like can I like go, like I'll volunteer. Like I'll do whatever I can. Like I'll give them whatever. You know, I'll sign whatever. And he says like, instead of saying it's not my pay grade, it's above my pay grade, I don't know. He just says like, well, listen, Randy, you know, and this was like 2019, or no, this was like 2020, this is when Biden was president. He's just like, well, listen, Randy, like if there was aliens, like Trump would have said something, right? Like he would have said, like, he can't keep his mouth shut, like, right? I was like, yeah, I guess. They're like, yeah. So like, if there was, like, we would know. But because he said it that way, I'm thinking like that's not how he would say it. Like he's either like deliberately trying to tell me something, or he's like really bad at what he does. And either way, like clearly there's some type of alien stuff. Unless he was telling the truth, which I don't believe, because he just changed his demeanor completely. So I do believe that there's aliens out there. I do, and again, I'll never say his name, like, but I believe that there's other things out there that we are not privy to, and I forget the original question. I'm so sorry.
I'm just, I guess, curious about your thoughts still on the weaponizing nostalgia from modern propaganda.
If there's anything that the government can do to...
Do you think that people don't care? Like, do you think Disney could do anything with the money and they will just, and Disney adults will just be all hail Disney no matter what? And do you think that that's just self-healing and nostalgia, or do you think that this is like Disney programming? Like, are we seeing the outcome of like Disney brainwashing? Because like I've been watching these videos and it's fascinating to me. Some of these people are on like debt podcasts talking about how they're 40K in debt and they have to have their Disney passes, and like, so it's like when I'm looking at stuff like that, like we're into like addiction territory. Like people are tearing down their lives going into debt to live this nostalgic Disney fantasy. And it's like, obviously people make bad choices. We see it with any type. But when you're talking about something as big as Disney, that's been basically feeding us propaganda since we were in diapers, like how much of that do you think is free choice at that point?
I think that Disney is the number 3 provider in streaming services. You have Paramount, you have Netflix, and you have Disney.
It's taken them a while to turn a profit, but they are actually finally turning a profit on their streaming.
Yeah. They have a ton of IP. There's something called a cooling off period, which they've finally gotten this past year. Netflix originally had Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Daredevil and Punisher. And once Disney bought Fox and they bought a bunch of the licenses from those, like, okay, we can use all your characters now. But it's like, okay, well, there's this cooling off period of like 3 to 5 years. And that's why it took so long for a lot of these characters to get their own series. There's a lot of things that we don't... It's like Stranger Things, which the last episode of season 4 is one of the things that I wish I would have seen with you. You haven't seen it yet, have you?
Nope.
I really would like to see that with you, because it's like a very long episode of like an hour and a half, if not 2 hours. It's so good. It is one of my favorite. It is my favorite episode of season 4. Because it's so good, and maybe we can do that soon, just to watch that episode, and then I'll go back to where I came from. I think Disney might have that incentive to say like, okay, Disney right now is its own thing where nobody dies at Disney. They have this agreement with the government that if somebody actually does die at Disney, no, they didn't. They're still technically alive until their body gets off of Disney properties. Oh, now they died at the hospital. Now they died here. Because they have that agreement with the local authorities. And I think that because Disney is a corporation made up of people, maybe they would have had a good agenda 50 years ago, but agendas change. And they probably have an agreement with the government that, yeah, we'll be quiet about X and we'll talk about this and we'll do whatever. Don't tax us a certain way, don't do whatever a certain way. Disney's like considered the happiest place on earth. Like they are in so many other in Disney Shanghai, China, the CCCP takes Chinese Communist Party takes 50% of every single piece of profit of every other business except for Disney.
Really?
They take, yeah. They only take like a certain amount from Disney.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know how. Maybe because they wanted it there. It's the same thing for Paris. Like Disney just gets a better tax rate than anyone else because every other country wants them there, whether it's Japan, China, Paris, any other place, because their IP is so powerful. So they do
I'm
have
gonna look
that.
into that because I'm studying that the theme parks might be energy related.
Yes.
So if there is some hidden energy extraction network thing going on, that might make sense about why some countries might be like, yeah, just bring it here. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that more. Thank you.
Planet of Empire says Ja Rule wrote a cookbook in prison. And it says, Booth says that's the lady with the bow on her head. Yeah, that she is the lady with the bow on her head. We love her. I love you so much, man.
Love you too.
Oh, thanks, fam. So tell me about that. What you were just looking into. How deep does the rabbit hole go on that?
Amusement parks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I feel weird sometimes talking about my theories because I'm just like circling thoughts. It's not like I'm all in and I 100% believe this. Like I like playing with ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But we used to have a lot more amusement parks around the country. So, yeah.
What happened to the amusement parks? Why did they close? Was it because sideshows like the strong man and the bearded lady fell out of favor, or was it because of other things?
Usually people sell out the land. Usually the land becomes more valuable, especially in cities and stuff. But that leads into like the whole energy thought. If you're congregating energy or something in a certain location and then they might close it and build something else, like, you know what I mean? Like, did they put energy into a location like a battery and then they wipe it and they put something else? So that's been interesting to me too, what they do with the land afterwards, and then also where they move these pieces. There's a lots of that in the amusement park industry too, lots of moving of rides. Which I mean makes sense. It makes sense to sell off the pieces of the amusement park. That actually makes more sense to me versus when they just demolish everything. That one's kind of super weird because it seems like you couldn't find anyone who would pay more than scrap prices for. That's always kind of weird too.
Yeah.
And then like the Ferris wheels and roller coasters, also the carousels. That's another thing that's been super interesting to me. Like you raise an eye at the Smithsonian, yeah? Like it seems like whenever they find stuff, then the Smithsonian shows up and then it disappears. The Smithsonian has a very, very large collection of carousel horses with like only one on display. But when you search in their collection, they have like over 80 of them. And they have like almost no information.
That display, where is that again?
The Smithsonian in DC. In DC. The National American History Museum.
Okay.
Yeah. They have a huge collection of carousel horses with almost no public information. Like, you would think, oh, it should say in the file, right? Carousel horse, where it was acquired, where it was from. No. They have lots of carousel horses in their archives. I
Have you
think
ever
it's
seen
weird.
the Nickelodeon movie The Silver Site?
No.
One of the clues in that movie was that, like, it's a race that has no winners. It's like, okay, well, what is that? And it happens to be a carousel because they go round and round, and they, there's no winners because they all stay in the same place. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. Um, and obviously Hollywood. I don't know if Nickelodeon counts as Hollywood, especially 30 years ago or 25 years ago. But what if they do? What if that's just the
And Kid Hollywood, there's a lot of weird stuff with Nickelodeon as far as
yeah,
like trafficking, like super weird.
yeah. I mean, what if there's, let's say, so this is going to sound very not good. Let's say Hollywood is controlled by a certain group of people. And then let's say you have somebody that just happens to like Hollywood, they happen to like, film, and they're independent of this certain group of people. But they happen to say, like, okay, well, I happen to go into this because I like it. And then Hollywood's giving them these like weird things that they have to follow. If you were that person, how would you convey to the rest of the world that is unsure or even unknowing of this type of monopoly? Would you call it a carousel? How would you put in these little hints in that there's something deeper going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I would just come talk to you, apparently. We would just talk about it. There wouldn't be no
Yeah.
hints and drops, but
I love this type of stuff because, like, again, I talked to you about mermaids the other day, and we'll probably go over deeper into it next week. We'll get some type of guest on next week. I don't know who it'll be, but it'll be
well, 2 weeks from now. But yeah, next time.
oh yeah, 2 weeks from now.
Next time.
Totally, 100%. Aside from Craig, what other type of person would you like to have on?
I don't know, because that, like, I don't know. I guess we'll have to decide on like a topic.
Mhm.
Usually we're just free all over the place. But it's like if we bring someone in, like, then we're gonna have to have a topic in mind. Probably gonna do some homework.
Well, I've never
I hadn't
really.
really thought about it before because I didn't feel like we were at a point to do that. But you are further along in the podcast thing anyway, so that was
Yeah,
my first time, like, putting my mind around, like, hey, maybe we should get guests, and we need to get to a point where we can, like, get this guy on.
I've never told anyone, like, hey, here's what I want to ask you. Here's what I've always said, like, if anyone asks, like, what's this about, I always said it's generally whatever my guest specializes in. If you're into dirt, if you're into soil, if you're into vitamins, working out, politics, love, religion, spirituality, like, I'll ask you about that because that's what my audience will get value out of. Yeah, I've never given people questions beforehand. So I would always tell them, like even my last guest, William K, he had sent it to his sister. I made the comment, it was like, he said the fat redhead at the end of the bar. I was like, you two play really well off each other. Do you rehearse or walk through it first? And he said no. So I feel like people would want to get some type of questionnaire out of it, and I never give it to them. So even any of my political or royalty friends. So
No, that's fine. I don't mind the open format like that. I think maybe it does put stress on the person. Like, even when I was coming, people are like, "What are you going to talk about?" I'm like, I don't know. We're just gonna talk. And I know me and
Yeah.
Randy can just talk, but I understand like for someone else that would be a little intimidating. You kind of feel like
No.
I don't know what I'm walking into. um, but I mean like just thinking about what we want to talk about to decide who we might want to come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever they want. I mean, so I was in a well, I guess I could tell people about it now. I was in a meeting with the people of Figpin yesterday, and well, like literally like 2 minutes into the meeting, the girl like grabbed her cup and started sipping water, and I was like, "Is that a Disney Stanley cup?" And she's like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, "Oh my God, my ex-girlfriend," and I was referencing you. I was like, "She loves Stanley cup." Ah, yeah. So,
This is my baby right now.
yeah. So I referenced you, and I was just like, "Yeah, She loves Stanley Cup. She might be. I don't know how big you are on
And
Disney."
I'm never that, I'm never the trend kind of person. Like it's so weird for me with the Stanley Cup, but I saw them all dressing them up and they had like bows and all sorts of accessories. And I was like, okay, hold on a minute. And then
Your bow is.
I've been in my water research, so it's like I have a special water cup.
I can't wait to put you in Icelandic water and other water, and what you have different types of what I would view as, hey, let me go in the water and sensory deprivation tank type stuff. You haven't done that in a while, right?
I have never done the sensory deprivation. I know, I
Zen.
know. I look at it like every couple months and the fucking price gets me though. I'm
What
such a
wait
fucking
what
poor person at heart.
what is it, Zen? What is it? How much is it?
Dude, it's crazy. It's like 70, $80 for a half
Okay,
hour or
let
45 minutes.
let me know how much it is when you're there, and I'll sell you the money, or I'll cash up you the money, whatever you need.
I know the local place to me, they have like a deal. That's why I haven't done it yet, because they have a deal where if you like buy three, they're like heavily discounted. Maybe it's
Well,
like
how much is it for
three
three?
for 180 or something like that.
Okay, we'll do it. Let me know when the next time you can do it is, and
I
I'll.
know I wanted to do it, but I'm a poor person at heart and I have 5 babies. So whenever I
Yeah.
look at it, I'm like, there's a ton of other stuff I could
Well,
spend that kind of money
let
on.
me know what it is when and I'll pay for it, and then this way. But you just have to tell me, and
Because I
which,
have
by
to
the
come
way,
back. I have to come back and report. I will.
which is fine, but you also haven't, like, we had the agreement of I'd pay for the chat GPT stuff, and you haven't told me in several weeks.
No, I haven't told you for December or this month.
Yeah, like
Oh
what the
no,
heck, then?
I felt weird asking you because you have New Bay now, and I'm like, I don't want New Bay over there. Like, why is this bitch asking you to pay for her Chat GPT?
This is not for anything. Like,
Like, it's
this is just for
business, but I
research
still feel
purposes.
weird. I feel weird
Well, this is
asking.
for this is for research. Like, and also,
I
I've
know
had a
that,
lot
but
of.
I still feel weird.
No, it's fine. Like, I've had a lot of good things happen recently, and I have several good things happening in 2026. And again, I told you this is what I'd pay you for. I'd pay for that if you go in and say, this is what I'm getting out of it. So
No.
let me know what it is, and tell me what's going on so that I can comfortably pay you for it.
They're ruining Chat GPT.
Why?
That's
Tell me.
the
Tell me all. Write me out. Write me out.
because they keep putting the safety guards up higher and higher.
Tell me what the safety guards are.
Oh, well, I can't talk about dream decoding much anymore
Why
without
not?
telling
Why not? Tell me.
because it keeps yelling at me. The new safety model tries to butt its
Wait,
head
wait,
in
wait,
there.
wait. Tell me what originally you experienced and how it keeps yelling at you.
Well, it used to just dream decode with me, talk
What
about what
what is
things could
dream decode?
symbolize.
Tell me that first.
Like if you have a dream and you look up on Google, like, what does a dog running up a staircase mean type shit.
So that's what you normally dream.
No, I don't dream that. I'm just using that as an example. Like people
Okay,
will
tell
try
me
to
what you
decode.
normally dream.
I don't normally dream.
Yes, you do. You
I
you
dream
dream
very
like
rarely.
no. Don't you dream like, hey, I can control where I dream? Don't you lucid dream
Yeah,
normally?
I lucid dream, but I don't remember my dreams usually.
Okay, well, tell me what is different about this particular thing.
Okay, well, you used to just be able to ask dream symbolism and stuff. And now anytime I talk about that, it gives me this safety model to have me breathe and calm down. And dreams don't mean it's going to happen. And dreams don't have to be prophetic. It's just your brain, you know, working out concepts and all this kind of crap. Like, it just keeps giving me this safety disclaimer. I'm like, bro, I know. I'm not saying my dreams are prophecy. I'm trying to go through what the hell it might mean in symbolism.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Doesn't like me talking about energy extraction. It definitely doesn't like me talking about the Masons.
Wait, the energy distraction, when you ask it about
Extraction.
it, what does it say?
Like that phrase itself.
Wait,
Energy
wait,
extraction
when you
doesn't
type
like
in
that.
something with that, what does it respond with?
Well, because I usually use 4.0. And like when you trip up the safety guardrails, it will auto you into the new model. And that's where it happens.
So when you do that, it doesn't let
It
you
tries to give me a
ask questions?
talking to, like I'm mentally ill, and to that those kind of things aren't real. And just because people talk about it online, and you know, it gives me the
So it doesn't ask you questions?
oh no, it gaslights you. It tries to
Wait,
tell
wait, wait.
you
So
how you should
what type
view
of question do
reality.
you ask it, and how does it respond?
I It's not even that I ask it questions. Like I will be talking about things that seem odd that line up, and I'll theorize like
Like what?
maybe they're doing this. Okay, like amusement parks. Like maybe they're rotating wheels with people and their emotions. Maybe
Okay.
they're extracting energy or something. That will trigger it. If I joke about the Masons, that also likes to trigger it. It likes to come in and give me the safety warning about the Masons
Okay.
aren't evil. They don't have any hidden intentions. I'm like, you don't fucking know that. Stop telling me what I'm allowed to think and talk about.
Yeah. Okay. So when it does that, how open is your mind for that? Is like, okay, let's see how well the people that are deniers can focus on the really good answers of what I've been listening to versus, okay, let me see what type of answers they give versus what type of answer. Like,
That's what I'm
apparently,
saying. Like, I'm just taking like internal notes. Maybe I should start actually writing it down every time that I get kicked out to the safety guardrail, what I'm talking
yeah.
about. Because me, I'm just noticing trends. You know, I'm
Mhm.
not actually putting the data down. Maybe I should do that.
There's a buddy of mine that went to,
Because it's only certain topics. Like, I can get woo about other stuff.
yeah,
Like even like what we were talking about earlier with the merge labs and what they're doing with the ultrasound and wanting to read minds and interact with the AI. No safety guardrails on any of that. I didn't get kicked out for any of that. So it's just like energy extraction stuff, Masons, dream decoding. So it's like,
okay.
but
Say dream decoding is fun. I like dream decoding.
I know you'll talk to me about my dreams, but you even know I used to send it through Chat GPT, no problem before.
Yeah.
But if I start linking it to, oh, that's what happened. Because the other day, everything with Iran and Missouri, like everything seems to be like heating up in the world recently.
Yeah.
And I was talking with my chat about like, you know, it kind of reminds me of that dream I had back in November. And like as soon as I was on that and I tried to be like, oh, connecting things in my real life with the dreams, it don't like that.
Gotcha.
I think too, when I tried talking with it about the mall world phenomenon, it too was getting very safety guarded. That it kept kicking me out and trying to tell me that basically that's wrong, and just because people say that doesn't mean it's real. And
that is do
and
you
I
still
remember
have those conversations?
maybe it depends, because sometimes when it starts doing that, like I will just start regenerating the response until I get rid of the safety fucking guardrail. Sometimes I can go through and regenerate the response, and I can get my 4.0 back. And sometimes if I'm really frustrated, I'll even edit my message and resubmit it, basically change how it's worded, because I notice obviously it flagged something.
Yeah.
So I might have some of that, or I might have regenerated and lost what its response was. It depends whether I feel like arguing with the safety model. Sometimes I get spicy and I start arguing with it, not to gaslight me. And then it's like, you're right, my bad. You're allowed to think what you want. I'm like, thank you, bitch. Like, Google don't judge me when I fucking stick stuff in the search bar. Don't tell me what I'm allowed to think about.
That is surprising, though, that they were able to get you that. Okay, yeah, this is hard. This is rough. This is a very hard time that people are trying to make sense of.
And I get it. I get the lawsuits they've been facing. They're trying to stop crazy people from going off the rails, but
yeah. What I can do right now, because we've been live for 2.5 hours, I was gonna go in and tell people to tune in next week, but what are some things, or at least one thing that you wanted to tell people that have been here for the last 2.5 hours that you want to tell people to keep digging at before we go off camera?
keep digging at. Bro, I don't know. You always ask me this kind of stuff. I'm like,
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I need watch hours, though.
We do. Subscribe to Zen on her other stuff. Subscribe to Zen. Everyone say bye to Dashi.
Bye, Dashi.
And let me know some other stuff that you have some things on. We'll pay for it, and we'll get you to try to get a bunch of hours on. Anything else you want to go over before we say adios?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, everyone, this has been great. Love you all. We've said goodbye to Dashi, and let's say bye-bye.